Welcome back, Lockdown Workshop. Just going to try and squeeze in a quick one. Had this one dropped off. It is a Planet X Viner Maxima 4.0. I don't recall there being a 3 or a 2 or a 1. Anyway, it's pink with pink highlights. It's got a few gear problems. I think it just wants a bit of a tweak. Possibly the chain's not happy. So we'll set you up and we will see what we have got. Back soon. Oh, wibbly wobbly. You're on the long stand. Right, where's the magic? Oh, are we recording or not? Okay, you're on the long stand. Can you see my hand? Ooh, ooh, ooh. So, first things first, let's have a look at the state of the chain. I do know the history of this bike. It's been around the club a bit. It's on its second owner. Somebody else at the club, so I know the bike's been reasonably well looked after, but I suspect that's still got the original chain. So yeah, oh, we're just on, so you can see we are just on the limit. So ideally you want to be changing the chains when they go through the first one, but not quite through the second one, and that's through the second one. So that means we've got a millimetre's worth of stretch over however many links that is. I think it's, hold on, we'll count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 links. So over 10 links, we've lost a millimetre. And ideally you want to be thinking about changing it when you've lost 0.7 of a millimetre. So hopefully we've caught that. It won't have done any damage to the sprockets because we are just on the limit there, and it is just grazing it. I have noticed the brake cable, the gear cable on the back mech is also a bit frayed. I'll just check that out. If it's just that end, I'll tidy it up and I'll put a bobble on it. Front looks like it may have had a new chain because I'm pretty sure Planet X didn't put blue tabs on. I did also notice that the back quick release isn't binding properly, so it's very hard to get it. I can actually spin the lever even when it's on at its hardest. I can actually rotate the thing, so that possibly needs looking at as well. But the main reason was the gears weren't, it had a tendency to come off. So we'll just see where we are with the gears. So we're up on the big ring, we're about middle on the back, so we'll do a big ring check. We pull the right things. It's going down okay. It's coming up okay. It goes down okay. It comes up okay, maybe a little bit draggy. There is actually a device for catching it that looks like that needs readjusting because it's not far enough. I'll let you have a look at that. Can you see that in there? So that's a catcher. Some of them have them on, some of them don't. Depends on the frames and the mech system. So that deflects the chain if it comes off and keeps it there. So that does look like it needs adjusting. Let me just bring it back down again. We'll have a look where we are. Right, that's quite a long way off. You can see that it's angled that way and it shouldn't be, and this edge here should be running parallel to the teeth there, and should be running, when it's on the lower gear, should be running down the center of the teeth, and it's nowhere near. So that needs bringing round. That possibly explains why it's nudging it off. And it might want a bit more tension in it. That's slightly off. So once we've adjusted that round and brought it up, that will possibly stop it from doing what it's doing, because it does look like it's overreaching as well there. It's the angle's too shallow, you can see it's catching on the side of the frame, so that'll probably fix that. We'll just quickly go up and down the gears too. Can you see that? Tilt your head back a bit. I think you can see that now. Question is, am I going to whack you with the pedal? I'm going to whack you with the pedal. Sorry, you're going to have to move. You're on the long tripod. The long tripod's got floppy legs. I can't see if you can see that or not. Go down. It's the old. Let's see that double shifted then. One shift, and it's slightly too high. It is catching. Did I mention last time how much I had? Hey, oh, there we go. It's not latching. It's double latching. Up and up. So it does go through all the gears. It's slightly off. So maybe adjusted a little bit too high. We can adjust that down. It's still too high. Which way is it going? It is trying to go up. It's definitely trying to go up. That looks odd as well. That's run out way too far. Right. So I think the first thing we'll do is we will change the chain. While it's off, we might as well get the back cassette off and give that a clean as well. I'll give the front a quick wipe up. I'll probably see if I can tidy that up a bit, and maybe put a bit more in it. Just slacken it off a tad. I think it is too tight. It definitely wants something, just a tad, not a lot. But it's definitely snug in there. Right. Well, see, according to that looks okay. Right, let's do the chain first. Clean up the derailleur a bit, and then we'll see where we are. Right, has he got a split link? There we go. You've seen me do this a few times now. Oh, come on. Let's try it in the right ones. It'll shout at the screen going, it's the wrong one. There we go. Stay. It's like defusing a bomb. Do you know what? I think I might put another glove on. Let's throw the boat out. Let's have another one. Right. Save these because they're always always worth having one in your backpack. You're not supposed to reuse them, and I suspect that felt pretty sloppy, but do you know what? If you're out in the middle of the nowhere and your chain breaks, you're not going to turn your nose up at it. It'll get you home. So we'll just put that in a little pot, and then we can we'll need another pot. We've still got Jerry's pot in there. Let's get another pot. Let's have another pot. Another pot. Oops, another pot for bits. Let's see how bendy this one is. Well, that's nowhere near as bad as the other one. It's still quite bendy though. So that will be affecting the gear changing as well. So we will, don't chuck this away either, because you will need this for measuring the length of the chain we are going to put on. So I shall not hang that one where I normally hang it, because I've got another chain there already that I probably don't need there. Right, so let's just quickly drop this wheel out. We'll have a quick look at this. That might explain it. We appear to have two springs. Well, do you know what? Nothing's starting to surprise me nowadays with these springs. So we've now got two springs on this one. It's a double spring, so we need to I think it's a double spring. I'm not sure what that is. Yeah, I think it's just two springs. It looks like two springs have compressed. Yeah, there's two springs there. That probably explains why it wasn't squishing down, because it was trying to compress two springs. Have we got two springs on the other side too? No, we've just got one on the other side. Well, I never. We go from no springs at all to two springs. So remember, boys and girls, as with last week, one spring on either side with the pointy bits going inwards. Right, it looks like somebody's been happy with the spray can on this one. I will check it because it does not feel very happy, that one. It's jamming, which is never good. Yeah. That might need replacing. I will have a word about that one. Oh, that was coming undone as well. That's not good. That's not supposed to be like that. Good thing I carry spare wheel bearings for these, but this one feels okay. What's that look like? Is it worth taking it off and cleaning it? Yep, we'll just take that off and give it a quick clean before we stick it back on, and then we know there's no crud or anything in there that's interfering with the chain. So I'll bring you back shortly. Stop recording. Just bring you back to crack this off. Felt a bit loose, that. Recover that. Breaker bar on the floor, and off we come. Right, we'll just get that one cleaned up, as I said. Let's have a quick look at the carrier. Oh, that looks fine. Feels great. Nothing to worry about there. Stop recording. I thought I'd show you anyway. That's pretty khaki. I don't know what that is. I expect somebody's been a bit liberal with the yellow grease again. That done. What we'll do as well is I'll just take that out, and I'll and give the derailleur a bit of a clean up. Stop recording. Trying a musty shot. He always does this. There's his arms around the camera. Oh, it's funny. He spills stuff all over his hands as well. So I just put some fresh gunk in the spray bottle so I can spray a bit on the oily bits on the bike, so I don't have to take them off. Just give them a quick wipe down. Stop recording. I do like the way the SRAM stuff looks. I just find it really difficult to work on. I mean, that's a beautiful crankset. It's way better made than the than the SRAM one, than the Shimano one. Sorry, he was stood on my cloth. So we'll just have a quick look at the teeth on it. Get some like grease and crap out of the way. I mean, SRAM and Shimano went down a slightly different route with their ranges. SRAM went to carbon, and Shimano stayed with this hollow construction, where they bonded aluminium together in a hollow form, which made the aluminium the aluminium solution probably a better solution. With a but, and a massive but, is that they have had some questionable performance out of them, where the cranks have split or cracked on the Shimano ones because the aluminium's come unbonded when it's got water in it, which isn't good, and they felt fit not to do a recall on it either, which has irritated a few people. Now I've one of my bikes at the moment. When the frame went, and the frame has definitely gone, but initially what I thought was the frame, the first noise I was getting was actually the crank going. So I changed the bottom bracket, I changed the pedals, and eventually I changed the frame, which fixed one of the clanking, creaking noises, but it didn't fix one of the most annoying ones. And I do genuinely think the crank's arm is broken and it's clicking, so I need to go and have a proper good look at that. I did buy another crank for the frame that broke, because the frame itself's fine. It's just that I wouldn't trust it out on the road anymore because it's carbon frame. I think you might have seen me do a build on that. It was a Holsworth Fire Enzi, and the seat stay down there has snapped. It's got lines up and down there, and it's got a couple of lines on the headstock I found, and it was creaking and clanking. So that got swapped out for the Holsworth Pro Light UCI spec frame, which is a lovely frame. So I reused so I didn't put my UCI frame on the turbo. I built up the broken frame, because it's not broken, it's just got some stress fractures in it. I built that up and bought second-hand reconditioned or new parts, whatever was available, whatever was cheap, and built that up. So I've got a spare crank that is actually in slightly better nick than the original. Right, so I've cleaned all the muck off the jockey wheels. They weren't too bad, to be honest, considering the lube that's been used. Right then, so let's get we'll stick the cog back on there. You don't need to watch me do that. And then we'll get the back wheel in, and then we'll chuck a chain on it and see where we are. Stop recording. Right, top tip for putting these on is use the actual tool to roll them in so you don't damage the threads. So again, as I've said before, if you can, you don't have to do this. Well, I prefer to do it. To take the pressure off the freewheel mechanism, get that on there, and use it to take the strain, so you're not relying on the teeth. It is fiddly because, as you can see, because you can't keep the tension on because you're fighting against the freewheel. Timber! Come on, stand up straight. Probably you're on the same. You're on the same thing as I'm on. That's it. So what I was doing there was, so I'm not pushing, inadvertently pushing against the ratchet. I'm actually holding that and I'm using that to pull it round. So I'm going the opposite way. So I'm still going that way and then pulling it. So at no point am I accidentally putting any pressure on the ratchet in the freewheel. So you're not risking damaging those tanks because the metal in there is quite soft. And there's no way you can put 40 newtons through a pedal. So the risk is that I'm going to damage the tangs that force out, the tiny little brass or soft metal flappers that on springs that pop out to the side and catch like a tooth that's around the edge of a barrel. So if you push out, you're risking damaging the tangs or damaging the barrel, and then you've got to replace the whole lot. And as everything else, it's not cheap. Stop recording. Right, you're back in the cart again now. So every time I knock the cart, you're going to wobble. Right. So let's put this one in. I'll put it in, and what I'll do is I'll have a word with Mick about getting him to swap that out for another one. They must have another one. I think this is a turbo one, and it's I'll be honest, it's seen better days. It's actually snagging. So I don't think the two springs were helping. It was stopping it from actually closing up, but it's not right anyway. That's it. My favourite thing, trying to put wheels on, especially when you put the wheel in back. Why didn't you say something? He said, "Oi, Dozy, you put the wheel in back to front." Thanks. Just testing. It was the new kid. It is definitely biting a bit better now we've got those springs out of the way. But it's not biting, it's still spinning. I don't know if you saw that then, I could move that. Yeah, I shouldn't be able to do that. So that's definitely something that's not right there. And the thing is, it's not going to make that much difference. You can feel it's not locking down. So we'll warn Mick about that one. Right, well, I've got the chain off. Let's just see where we are with that. So if anything, I would say that that's slightly low. No, it's pretty much bang on. So it looks where it is where it should be. Yeah. So what we'll do is we'll wind it out a bit. I'll release that, let it drop down, and now I've got some play in it, because at the moment I'm bottoming out on the adjuster. And as per usual, I cannot find any of my tools. It should be in the cart and they're not. Right, don't need that. That was last week's project in the bag. Right, we've got 3, we've got the 4. Oh, that's the 5. There we go. It was right in front of my eyes. Right, so we'll let that slack off. think that needs to move as well. That's not in the right place. Loctited as well. Yeah, the lifter's not in the right place. The whole cassette's the whole thing's too far forwards. So we just need to bring that back a bit. So I don't know if you can see what I'm doing there. There's actually an adjuster on there, and there's a tang in there, and that adjuster lifts that back, and it was bottoming out completely, and it was too far forward. So actually, what that does is that makes it difficult to get the chain in and out. So that's a little bit better. Yeah. So that may also be having an effect on it. There is a position that you're supposed to angle it at, but I tend to do it by eye, and I know I'll get a lot of people moaning at me saying I've not put that in the right place. Alright, so hopefully that should address some of our issues. Let me get I've managed to save that cable, the frayed bit. Let me bring you out of there, see if your feet will stay. So I've rewound it with my fingers and it's gone back in, so it just looks like it's got snagged. Actually, it wasn't in a bad state. So look, have we got any bubbles in here? Sometimes we have some bubbles in there that are left over from other jobs. Any in that one? No. Unfortunate. Any bubbles on here? No. There's a dig one out of here then. So look what we've got in here. We've got any bubbles in here. Bubbles. I do probably need to order some of these. Right then. So what's that one? Item code. Alfred's. Cable cover ends 10. It doesn't say what they are. Right, I think these are the smaller ones in here. Yeah, they're the 0.9s or whatever they are. Is it 0.9? Something like that, 1.9. Anyway, right. I know these are the smaller ones. So they only fit on... Well, apparently they don't fit on. Get the crimper out. Oh, pay attention. This was supposed to be a short one, it's turned into a long one. Come on, stop being awkward. It's lovely out there. Should be out on a motorbike tonight. Stood in here. But I've got a backlog and I did promise I would do them. So let's just straighten that out and make it look a bit more presentable. I don't like these where they just look a mess. Right. So low's okay, high's okay. All we're going to do now is stick a chain on. Stick a chain on. Well done, Mick. Got the right one, got an 11 speed. So this is what we're putting on. It's a PC1130, so it's kind of their standard. It's not the top of the range chain, but it's the one that you should be using, unless you're a pro cyclist getting his chain changed every time he goes out on the bike, because it's made out of cheese. So it's not the red or whatever it is. I can't remember what the top of the range one is, but it's like, you don't want Dura Race, and you don't want, I can't remember, it's not E-Tap, I think it's red. You don't want them, because they are made out of cheese. Right, where's the split link? Now I know there was a split link in it, because I saw there was a split link in it. Is it already on? Oh, it's there. No, it's on the... That's right, yes, they leave them stuck in the ends. So we'll just pop that one out, and pop that one out, and stick it in the parts pot. You can see, fortunately, you can see which one's the new one. Right, so all we need to do now is unwangle it all. Oh, I love chains. You get them out of the box and they just immediately tie themselves in a knot. Right. Let's just let go of it. Right, this shouldn't be as difficult to do as the last one I did. That was every 15 links jumped to link completely. It was about 1 millimetre. It had something like 3 millimetres every 10. Right. So, and you've got to remember as well, because it's split link, you need female to female end, not outer to outer. So we'll just grab it there because that's about the same. Just grab it there, and that's still the same. Move it all the way down, and we need to, let's go a bit closer. Right, so that's the one we need to take out. That one there. Right, so I can get rid of that again. Out the door you go. Oh, we'll get Old Faithful out. This is my old BMX one from days when I used to ride BMX. So in theory it should be able to do more heavier duty chains. It just doesn't seem as good as the other one though, the one I tend to use all the time for these videos. But it's to hand, so we will pop it out. I think I'm supposed to be in that bottom one. That one. So this one you nip it 2 ways. It's a bit more fiddly than the other one. So you bring that. Sorry, I'm talking away to the camera. It's got a bottom adjuster and a top adjuster. So you wind that in just to pinch the bottom of the chain. And the idea is you can fit more different sizes of gauges of chains. Especially BMXs have some pretty weird, freaky chains. You'll see one in future videos. I've got one down there with one of the more modern chains on. And that's there we go. Right, now we've just got to check, as I did last time, that we've got an inner and an outer, and this one looks like it's universal. It's got the same writing on both sides. There are no arrow marks on it at all to say inner or outer. So it looks like we are good to proceed. So let's try a third way of doing it. Since we've got a few grumbles last time. Feel free to comment as well. Grumbles I got were on Facebook because I post these up on Facebook as well. Well, I post the link to YouTube up on Facebook because posting the video on Facebook would be slightly pointless. Right. Come on. Right, got to be careful with these because it is a carbon See, my way was much better. Thread it round the cage first. I mean, no, you don't thread it round the cage first. No, you do thread it round the cage first, because then you don't have problems like this. Right, I'm going to find the other one now because it's got the magic snagic bit on. If you've not seen the other one. Don't think it's a Park tool. It's a Bigfoot spanner. That's it, fat spanner, which is the same make as my chain tension adjuster as well. Weren't very expensive when I bought them. I've had them literally years. Probably that one I've probably had it about 15 years. The chain tensioner, chain checking spanner, I've probably had that about 10 years as well. Ooh, something's leaked in there. Ew. That's not pretty. I've no idea what that is. That's horrid. Right. Stop procrastinating, Toller. I want the tea tonight. Right, so these do have a direction on. Direction of travel is that way. Can you see this? You want to see this? All right, then. Let's put your feet up again. I've got you on the telescopic pole, but it seems to be struggling with the floor a bit. Now I'm going to have to try and work around it. Let me do a musty again. Let's put you there. See if I can. Can you see that? Yes. Right. Where's the chains? That cart's in a right mess. I'm trying to work out the cart because I'm experimenting on what I need to work on the bikes that I need to keep down here when I move up to the other workshop. So I just retain stuff for doing bikes in here. Anything big I'll probably still take up to the other workshop because that's where all the specialist tools will be. But for basic servicing with nothing, this is being awkward today. I'm all fingers and thumbs. Right. Stop being awkward. Just try something. Let's give myself some more room to play with. I've got my finger stuck in it. Oh, why am I struggling today? I get one side in, the other side pops out. So at this point, other YouTubers would cut off but not me. No. Right, that's it, we're in. This way it flies across the room and hits me in the eye and I'm blinded for 10 minutes. There we go. See, I don't turn the camera off. I'll let you watch me struggle because I know it entertains you. Put my little thing back in so I don't lose it. Ooh, there misses. Right, I'll put this back in here so I can find it for next time. Should we start decamping some of this crap out of here into the other box? Clunk. Don't need that, don't need that. Put them away. I don't know why there's retainers on them. That really irritates me. Wind that in. Wind it in. Right, let's just step you back a little bit and then we can have a quick look at how it's going. Right. Tempt fate here. I'm going to take the gloves off so I don't get Debsy's handlebars mucky. Actually, they're quite mucky already. They're still snagging a little bit. Right, now we're under adjusted, so that's okay. That's where we were trying to get to. So now what I'll do is I'll just tweak this slightly. And then take it down again. That's better. There, see, it's not snagging now. I think it does want to go up a little bit still. There you go, look at that. Right, so that one's okay. Let's check to see what's going off with the front now. Right. So let's bring you around here. You can have a look at the front. See what I'm doing here. Can you see there? It's on wonky legs now. You got wobble on. Can you see that? So first things I've got to do is I've got to try and line this up. And perhaps I should have done it while the chain was off. Who knows? So we'll get that lined up first. So I need to take all the tension out of that. So I need to make sure it's on the bottom. Oops, wrong way. No, that's down. Right, there should be an adjuster somewhere for that one. Oh, that's weird. There's no adjuster. That's very odd. Right, so that's a bit of a strange one. There is supposed to be an inline adjuster for this, but there isn't. So what you would normally have is, if I go and find Jerry's, is there should be one of them in line, so you can adjust this. There is no way of adjusting this. So that's something that's missing. So I'll mention that to Mick. I mean, I can work around it. It's not ideal. Am I missing something? It's not there. It's not under there. So it is definitely missing. Right, so this is where you go old school. So we never used to have adjusters on these in the olden days, back in the day. Oh God, this is one of them, isn't it? Right, so we need some very, very, very tiny Allen keys for this one. So, oh, turns out not that tiny. It's not that one. I don't think it is anyway. No, next one. Next one down from that, but up from the other one. Have I got it out already? No. Have a quick look. Okay, that's irritating. Cursed by yet another missing Allen key. What here is it? Oh, there it is. I'll put the box on top of it. There's my spanner as well, so put that in there. Right. That's the one I wanted. Oh, right. Well, that's not going to have helped at all, is it? So that was actually undone. So it's no wonder that was... I'm not even sure what that does, to be honest. There we go. We will have a look. I've not seen them clipped on like that before. So we will... Don't even think I've got a bit that's the same as that. The bottle rack is helpfully getting in the way every other rotation. Right, so let's get that off. See what that does. Right, so that is an adjuster. So you put tension on with that and then you use that to wind it out against the tension. Now I'm hoping now I've got that thing off that should just be a straightforward 5mm or 4mm adjuster. Try the 4mm. No, try the real 4mm. Yep, that's in. That's fine. Right, I'm just a bit nervous about this because there's not a lot of... and this Allen key is not brilliant. You can see that Allen key's been chewed up. It's not much better at the other end. I could do with really grinding them off. I grind them off after a while when they get like that. So what we will do is we will switch to... we will switch to this. We'll switch to this, but the right this. Oh yeah, that's right, that's the one I broke. Right. Just have something in me that just doesn't like... so we'll slacken that off and we will adjust it to where it's supposed to be. But what I'll do, and this is what I was saying, I'll go old school on this now. So I will use the old Allen key, it just makes life easier. It's less bulky. And I can use it to line it up. So what we're looking for is I'm going to try... Right, so I'm going to get it in line first and keep the tension. Are we back in the room? Right, sorry about that. Battery went flat. So what I've done is I've just lined that up so it's exactly down there. I'm not going to pick you up because it's just taking me ages to get your feet back down again. So that's now lined up with that. It's not in line that way, but because I haven't got an adjuster, I'm going to have to move that out so it's where it should be, and then I'll lift it up and put it into its final resting place to get the tension back on the cable, because there's no inline adjuster and I haven't got a spare inline adjuster. Otherwise I'd have just chucked one in. So where are we? What have we got for more little bits? Right, so what we are looking for is to try and work out which one of these lifts it up. Now, guessing how low it goes, how far off it is, I'm guessing it's that one that needs to be adjusted. Yep, there we go, straight up. So we will wind that up now so that it is roughly in line with that. And I can see I'm still slightly out, so I am going to need to get that one and just adjust this slightly. So again, trial and error, bring it back in line, lift it up, tighten it up, and what will usually happen is you'll find at this point that it's actually gone the wrong side now, so I'm going to let it back down again. But the idea is, when you set these cables, is you want them so that there's just the tiniest amount of tension on the cable and it should be set perfect, right? It is really as simple as that. People make a lot of a massive deal about these, but it is really as simple as that. So all I do normally is just use the adjuster to take up that final bit of slack, but I'm going to cheat slightly and I'm going to try and keep lifting this just to put that last bit of slack into it and make sure that I've got it in line as well. I can hear something furry at the back of my table saw over there. So I'm just going to nip that up. I will torque it in a minute, but we'll just check that that's about right. It's probably a little bit more slip in that than I'd like, but we'll see how we go with it. So what you can see now is, where's your eye? Right, you should be able to see that that's in line now. It's not catered over there, and it's now in line with that. And there's the slightest amount of tension on there, probably a little bit more than I would like. But what you can see is the effect of this is now, because I've brought it round and canted that over slightly, that this is now not rubbing on the side of there. It's now looser. So looser, it is more loose. So we'll see how we go with that then. All right, okay. Right, so we do need to put more tension in there. Right. So again, old school tricks. Just move you back out of the way. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to drop it down slightly. Not, I'm going to lift it up slightly. I'm going to take it way beyond, so that gives me loads of slack now. I will knock this off. I will lift this up so it is now in line but well out. We will go with that. Let's wind that back down now, and that will take more, that will add more tension to it. Just check that it is in line. Right, that's put loads of tension on because it's not actually lifting it any further. We'll just check, see where we are, just make sure we're not grinding anything. Just okay, very just. Right, so it will grind, so we need to get it down because we don't go big to big, remember, because that's crossing. Mentioned that in other videos. That's not playing. Weird. Is that a 3-speed? Can't be. Yeah, we're over adjusted. Don't. Yeah, we've got too much tension in it now. So the problem is there, when I was going up, it wasn't going up high enough to be able to release the ratchet, and to get it to go far enough to release the ratchet, it was having to overextend the chain. So I've got to take some of the tension out. So this is why not having a chain tensioner, a cable tensioner on it is, you know, causing a few issues now, because it means I can't do the final adjustment using the chain adjuster. I'm having to do it using that. Now that does actually look about where it should be. There's a little bit of tension left on there, so let's have a look. It does seem to have quite a long draw on these, and maybe I wasn't drawing it far enough. Oh, it's still set too high. It's a swearer. So this time I need to take I've left the top adjuster too high, so I need to just throttle that back down again, so it can't take it that high. So let me have a look and see if I can do it by hand this time. Don't like doing this because it always ends up getting my fingers. Right, that's not high enough at all. Right, that should get it this time. Yeah, we got a ratchet. You hear the ratchet? But it's snagging. So why is it snagging? Right, that's too far. Right, so it's still too tight. Yeah. Oh, too tight. I can see why Debs is having trouble with it now. this carries on, I'm going to take a flipping cable adjuster off one of my other bikes. Too far! Just throwing it too far. Still too much tension on the cable. Were you flickering at me then? Right. Small amount of tension. De-rigged it down slightly so it's about level with the back of the tooth. It might be something funny with SRAMs. Like I said, I've not done a lot of SRAMs. Come on, I can't get the brake adjust. The gear levers are horrible because if you don't pull them all the way across, they think they're still going too far. Right, we're getting closer because it's not catching the inside of that now. So we're nearly there. Aha. Still too high. Keep going, nearly there. Nearly there. Very, very close now. We aren't a million miles away now. Right then, let's put the adjuster, the centre one back in again. That's the right one. So put the chain catcher back on again. I call that a win. I think we need the obligatory picture. So all I need to do now is just give the frame a quick right around where I've had my mucky paw prints all over it, get some cleaner on it. I've done that one. That one's fine. I do need to tell Mick about getting an adjuster on it. That's a big chunk out of that. Other than that, it's fine. I don't think there's anything wrong with this now. I'll just get her to ride it and then we'll see how we go. It might still need some tweaks, and this stuff here you would normally adjust all that out, but like I said, I can't do it. I am going to have to read up on SRAMs and find out all the technical specs for where you line these up, because there's obviously some subtle differences. I've noticed in the past that, and I've said this to people, is that SRAMs, Shimano's run on a parallel trapezium. So as you bring it up, it moves it up like that. Whereas on the SRAMs, what it tends to do, if you watch my fingers, it tends to do that. So it turns to, or is it that? It does something slightly different. It actually swings. It's on an uneven trapezium, so it actually makes it pivot. So you, with the Shimano's, you have 4 indexes on a 2-speed like this. So you push it up, and then when you move it 3 gears and you get that thing where it catches the inside of the derailleur, you can half index it down, and then you go all the way down, and then when it catches again, you can half index it again. So you've got 4 positions that you can have your derailleur in. On these, you can't. So as the trapezium goes up, it swings the whole thing. So it does that kind of thing. So it's got a slightly uneven pivot. So what it gets away from this fact that it's going to catch the chain, because obviously that's lower on that side, and it moves it out of the way. So you don't get that catching. So it's very clever, but it just makes them an absolute pig to set up. Whereas the Shimano's are so simple to set up. All you've got to do is just put the derailleur in the right place and then put the cable on it so that it's got a little bit of tension, and they're perfect every time. These, I think, need a little bit more fettling. So as I'm getting more and more of these in, because Planet X, I won't go into it because I do know what went on. I have been told, but for whatever reasons, they stopped selling Shimano products on their bikes, and they only sold SRAM for a period of about 5 or 6 years. Could be wrong. Somebody correct me if I'm not. But what it means is now that I'm getting a lot of these bikes that people bought sort of 3 or 4 years ago that are starting to wear out because they've done bugger all to them, or they've just been used, but they've all got SRAM on. So I'm just going to have to learn SRAM. I'll be honest, I'm a Campag Nolo person. I had to learn Shimano when I went from Campag to Shimano. If I could afford Campag, I would still have Campag, but I can't. So I ride Shimano now, and I like them. They're easy enough to set up, and I know what I'm doing with them. I'm just going to have to learn the SRAMs. You know, they're good kit, apart from a few annoying things with the cable routing around the handle grips, which makes it an absolute pig to change the cables out. It's well-made stuff. It seems to last as long, if not longer, than the Shimano stuff. Don't know, never run a set myself. I know exactly how long I can run a set of things. Anyway, waffling, you don't hear all this garbage. I'll just clean up the frame, and then this one's done. And then hopefully we'll get back onto the XC that's over there that's waiting to have its cable threaded through. Now I've had a steer on what they would rather I did for it. So part 3 of that's coming up. Anyway, right, don't forget, please like and subscribe. If you are in the Rotherham area, Sheffield area, Doncaster area, and you're a triathlete and you have got a bike that is knackered, or you would even want some coaching, because I am a qualified British triathlon coach as well. I do bike fits, and I do coaching plans, and I fix bikes. So if you've got any bikes that need fixing, just let me know, and we can have a talk about what it is you want doing. Just one other thing, if you have got any motors or anything, I keep showing that one, but that's not the best one. There's one there. That's a Honda clone down there, Lifan engine. Anything like that you've got that's broken, you don't want, and you want to donate it to the channel to see it taken to pieces, to find out why it's not working, or see if I can fix it, please give me a bell. I will come and collect stuff like that. Mopeds, any knackered old mopeds you've got in your drive, more than happy to have a look at them. But most important thing at the moment is hit like and subscribe. Put some comments in there. I will answer them. I'm answering all the comments at the moment. I've got a bit more time on my hands now. I've finished my final coaching qualification. So let's crack on. Great to have you again. Great to do a bit of spannering. Nice to have a nice pink bike in the workshop. That's it. Have a good evening. Bye. Right, back again. Viner, part 1B. So I wasn't happy about the SRAM config, so I went and did what I should have done first time. I went and read the workshop bike shop fitting guide for it. Yes, I kind of I was starting to get a feeling that there were some marks on here that I could be using for the setup, and there are. So it's as I said, it does cantilever, so you have a slightly different setup to Shimano. So I'm just going to crack on with this. I will talk as I go. I will be as quick as possible because I should have packed in by now. So we will get this going as quick as possible. So I'm going to take off all the stuff that we've just put back on. I'm going to undo the cable as well. Yes, it should have a cable adjuster. I wasn't missing something. So there should be an inline adjuster. You know what, I've just bloody spotted the inline adjuster. So there is an inline adjuster. Do you know what, I looked for that everywhere and I couldn't see it. And it is inline as well. Right, so let's get that out and let's put this where it's supposed to be. It was off at the beginning, it was off by quite a long way. In fact, it was off in the wrong direction. So all we've got to do is just stick it back where it needs to be now. So we'll just drop them over there. Hopefully I'm not going to get in your way too much. We will wind this in. Now I've found it. Right, so that is in. So we'll get that off. I've also got the back derailleur I can test as well now. I'll just quickly do that. I've got the specs for that as well. So what we are looking for is 6mm. So that can go a bit further down. That's about right. And then if I drop it all the way down, in theory, that's it, that's about right. Chunk that back up there again. Right, you need to come off. You need slackening off altogether. Right. So I need that one. Cloth. Just move you in there so you can see what I'm doing. I've got you in the apple stand at the moment. So right, there's a line there and there's a line there. That has to be in line with the bottom chainring. According to the instructions, which I'm going to go and get up in a minute just to remind myself. This thing's getting on my nerves. Let's put the iPad over here where I can see it. Oh, that's interesting. Not sure how you're supposed to do that, but we'll bear with it. Might be easy to take that chain off, or at least get that chain up on the big ring for this one. So let's wind that one in. So apparently to line this up, when it's in its up position, that and that should be in line. So I just need to knock that down slightly. And it should be at a height where it lines up with the line that's on the back. So that's somewhere like. So that's not quite in line, it's moved. It's fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. Right, so that needs to go up a bit more. Right, so that's in line and that's in line. And it needs to go a tad lower. The book's gone off again now. Right, now there is another one later on. It talks about that's when it's in its lower position. So I think that, even though I can't see because I need a bit of snot rag. There's a line on the back of here, but I can't see it because it's all covered in crud. I can see it now. God, that's a faint line. God, that needs to be a lot lower. You know what, we're right on the bottom of how low this can go. Well, I guess there's some adjusters on there as well, but so we'd have never got this right without the cable adjuster. Right, that doesn't look a million miles away now. Yeah, anything it could do with being a tad lower. That's assuming I'm, oh no, looking at completely the wrong line. I found the line now. It is a bit more enhanced and it's quite a long way off. This is why you need to do this with the chain off. Right, so the tips of the teeth need to be touching that line. Come on. Do not drop. Right, so there's quite a big line there. Right, we are just a smidgen up. From what I've already experienced, the smidgen up is not good. What I do like though, and I'm going to take back a lot of stuff I said about SRAM earlier now. I do like the fact that they've actually put markers on the kit, because one thing that infuriates me about Shimano, spot on, is that they have plastic little stick-on pieces that fall off. So let me get you out of the holder, see if you can see that. So there is a line in there that tooth needs to be on, and that mark there and that mark there need to be in line with the outer chainring. So I've had to wind it up on the adapter to get it up there. I've not got that in a brilliant place. There you go, can you see? So I've had to wind it up there, and I'm going to have to wind it back down again now. But that looks like it's in the right place, so we'll just nip that up. That looks okay. So what we'll do now is we'll wind it back down to where it's supposed to go and then take the lower measurement. So we need to be on the little ring, which we are, all the way back round to the other ones now. That's lined up. Right. We need to wind this back down now. Not with that one, I won't. Oh, sorry, you didn't want to get that much of a close-up of me. I'm just going to wind it down now so it takes the... And we keep going down. Now this is the weird thing, it doesn't tell you how far to wind it down. But it looks like it's until the outer edge is level with the outer edge of the... And there should be 1 to 2 millimeters gap, it says here. On that front edge. So it wants to go a little bit further down. And then what I've got to check is that I've got 1 to 2 millimeters gap there. Right, so that should be fairly easily done with a 2 mil. Yep, 2 mil just fits. So that's spot on. So in theory, no clunking. Ah, right. So we should have a 0.5 millimeter gap between that and the chain, according to this. Doesn't say where to have the chain though, interestingly, because that does make a big difference. Right, put the chain on. Get it up onto the big one, by the looks of things. Right, that's okay. Yeah, we've got the gap we need. Good-o. Right, next one. That was fairly straightforward. This needs to go back in now. Apparently we go over the top with it. Oh, you would. That's okay, it's got a nice amount on there. Oh, awkward-o, won't go on. Shall we go and rescue another one of them little biddly bits and put a fresh one of them on? On the floor here, can't afford to do that. We've got that many of them. We're running out. Very. Right, now let's see if that's made a massive difference. It's not bad, that. We just need to take a little bit more tension out of it. There's not much adjustment in that. Oh, we're back down there, are we? Over adjusted. Oh, that's sweet now. So we should have about 1 millimetre clearance apparently there, so we might need to just back this off slightly. Oh, look at that. That's sweet now. See, it makes a massive difference. Millimetres. That's not grabbing it at all now. That's picking it up exactly where it should be. Really pleased with that one. So we'll just put the chain catcher back on, and then we'll see where we go from there. There you go, job's a good one. Right, we'll bung this on the end. As I said, I've already done the spiel. Like and subscribe. Amazing the difference. Just look up how to set them up. Should have done it at the beginning. It's one of the things I moan about when I get the Shimano ones, and it's quite obvious that they've not set them up and they're 2 or 3 millimeters out. It makes a massive difference. I've adjusted that. I've moved that over by about 3 millimeters that way and lowered it down by about 2 millimeters. I've adjusted that back derailleur by 1 millimeter on its clearance to the back cog, and I've adjusted slightly the high and low settings on there, and having the cable adjusted to take the slack out, so you can see it's got a little bit of ping in it, but that's all it needs. And now, spot on. That's all it took. Job's a good one.